We have new episodes dropping every other week. You can find them early on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, or wherever you find your podcasts, or find the link below for our Megaphone landing page, and we will see you around the campfire.
Hey, I'm Jess,
And I'm Paul.
and welcome to Campfire Ashes. Now gather round, pull up a log, and let me tell you a campfire story. Kira tossed and turned in her bed. Insomnia was hitting her hard this week. She'd tried all the sleep-inducing measures she could think of, chamomile tea, white noise, melatonin vitamins, to no avail. She was even considering buying a dream catcher off Etsy, but hadn't gotten there yet. Kira was no stranger to sleepless nights or bad dreams. Ever since childhood, she'd had a hard time falling asleep, and an even more difficult time staying asleep. She averaged about 3 hours of sleep a night, 4 if she was lucky. Thanks to incredibly vivid nightmares, sleep did not come easily to Kira. Tonight was no different. She'd gotten maybe 30 minutes before another horrific nightmare sprang her out of sleep and damn near off the bed itself. She was still trying to steady her breathing now, about an hour later. Despite years of therapy, prescription sleeping medication, and her holistic practices, Kira was coming up short of a single method for successful sleep. If there's a higher power up there listening, I don't even need a full 8 hours. I'd be happy with 6. Just please, let me get some rest, Kira said into the darkness of her room. Tomorrow was an important day for Kira. Tomorrow, Kira would be starting her first day at her new company as editor-in-chief of a prestigious fashion magazine. A magazine Kira had been reading since she was a young girl, first learning to hand sew in her grandmother's living room at the age of 5. She worked her way up the ranks between excellent grades in school and a double major of marketing and fashion design in college. She'd graduated with a 4.0 and barely walked the stage to receive the degree before the job offer was in hand. Tomorrow had to go perfectly, and yet here she was, unable to rest. Finally giving up, she turned once more to her nightstand and grabbed her phone. 2 a.m. She didn't need to be in the office until 9, so if she could just fall asleep within the next half hour and stay asleep, she could get up at 7:30 and have enough time to get ready and get to work. She opened up Spotify to try looking for a podcast to help her doze off, but nothing caught her interest. That is, until she saw a podcast about Japanese folklore and mythology. Growing up in a Japanese-American household, she was sure she'd heard every myth and legend there was to talk about. Most stories coming from her elderly grandfather with a monotone so solid you could ice skate across it. Hopefully the narrator of this podcast had a similar tone of voice so she could drift off. She hit play on the first episode. While the narrator didn't have quite as smooth a voice as her dear old grandpa, his voice was even-keeled enough that it would have to do. Kira locked her phone, set it down on the nightstand, and closed her eyes. She tried to focus on her breathing and clear her mind. Next up, I'd like to tell you about a creature I spent a lot of time talking to as a child, the narrator went on. And that creature is the Baku. Have you ever heard of it? Kira's eyes shot open. She jumped up and hit pause. Why didn't I think of this before? She raced out of bed and threw on the light. Opening the door to her closet, she grabbed and unfolded the step stool she stored in there. She climbed on it and rummaged around the top shelf in her closet for the keepsake box she kept up there. Once she received it, she flicked the locks up and opened it. Inside the box was a plethora of memories, pictures with her grandparents and keepsakes from her trips to visit them in Japan. She was almost sure she didn't have it anymore, but then she saw it. Her Baku talisman from Grandpa. A stone-carved little creature resembling a tapir. She pulled the talisman out and set the box aside, shutting the closet door and turning out her bedroom light before returning to her bed, clutching the Baku in hand. She held the Baku tight to her chest and repeated out loud 3 times, "Baku-san, come eat my dream." After a beat of silence, Kira chuckled to herself and rolled onto her side, setting the talisman next to her on the pillow. It felt silly to be trying this after all the years of childhood when this didn't really seem to work for her, but she was desperate to get some sleep. Nothing else was working, so why not give this a shot? The next thing Kira heard was the sound of her morning alarm blaring. She jumped up to turn it off and check the time. 7:30 a.m. Kira didn't remember falling asleep, but she did remember having a cozy dream. She was sipping tea on the back porch of her grandparents' home in Japan, her grandmother sitting next to her, feet dangling off the edge of the porch and grazing the koi pond they kept in the yard. She felt safe and protected, giggling with her grandmother about the approaching spring and the plans they had for Sakura season. Grandpa came out to pour them more tea. They both told her they were proud of her, and then the alarm went off. Kira's grandparents have been dead about a decade now, and she hasn't been able to return to Japan since the last funeral. It was comforting to hear their voices again and receive their praise. Kira rubbed her eyes to wash away the last bit of sleepiness, and instead found herself wiping away tears. Today would be great, and it was the perfect way to start her new year. It may have been a placebo effect, but Kira decided she'd be keeping the Baku talisman on her pillow every night, just in case it was real. She breathed a sigh of relief and tossed off the blanket, ready to start her day.
Okay.
Oh, I know this is a little different. It's a little different than what you guys are used to hearing from us, and I know it's not that scary, so sorry if you were expecting a scary story. But there is a dark side to this creature. I chose not to include it in the story because I thought let's start the new year off on a happy note before we scare the shit out of you for the rest of the year. Wanted to bring you all a little bit of good luck. But this creature is, as I mentioned in the story, called a Baku, which is a Japanese supernatural being that's said to devour nightmares.
Yeah, this thing does not look cute.
Well, so here's the thing. According to legend, they were created by the spare pieces that were left over when the gods finished creating all other animals.
Okay,
So it's kind of
that
like
tracks.
an amalgamation of stuff. Yeah, it's like an amalgamation of things. So it's not exactly super cute. But
No.
so that's traditionally what they look like. But they are more recently like spun to look like the tapir.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cute. It's kind of like an anteater, a little bit.
Kind of, yeah, a little bit.
It's cuter. Definitely cuter.
Yes.
I think it was a way to make it like a more appealing thing to kids, to be like, hey, here's this
It's like,
thing
don't
that'll
worry
take
when
your
this thing
nightmare.
comes into your house and kills all your dreams. Don't worry about it. It's not
Well,
here to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, you summon it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just show up. Like, you have to summon it. It's believed to be dated as far back as the Muromachi period in Japan, which is like the 14th or 15th century.
Mm-hmm.
And it's described that the dream eating abilities of this thing are like you summon it, but you also need to have like an amulet or a talisman or something to speak to. Like you need a oh my gosh, I can't think of the word of it. Like in D&D, like you need a
somatic.
Like to summon it, like the like not a familiar, but like a oh my gosh, I wish I could think of the word. So like my sorceress in D&D, she has a circlet. That's where she channels her energy from.
Oh, a focus.
Thank you. Yeah, a focus. It's like a focus. You need a focus to call this thing. I don't know why for the life of me I could not think of that word. But yeah, you need like essentially like a Baku focus, like a magic focus. It's very like child oriented. It's aimed at like this like mystical, magical thing that you tell children to pray to, essentially, to help them sleep better.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just thought was really cute, even though it doesn't look that cute.
I mean, it doesn't look that cute. Like, not all of them look that cute, but like some of them do. Some of them
The
look
story was cute.
Some of them look cuter than others.
Yeah, it's cute. There's an early 17th century Japanese manuscript that describes the Baku as, quote, a shy Chinese mythical chimera with the trunk and tusks of an elephant, the ears of a rhinoceros, the tail of a cow, the body of a bear, and the paws of a tiger, which protected against pestilence and evil, although eating nightmares was not included among its abilities at this time.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
I like that.
yeah, but then in 1791, there was a Japanese woodblock illustration um, saying specifically that a I really can't talk today. This is sad. A dream-destroying Baku is depicted with an elephant's head, tusks, and trunk, with horns and tiger's claws, um, which is a characteristic portrayed in the classical era, like Japanese woodblock prints of the Baku, and it was also seen in shrine, temple, and Netsuki carvings.
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. Like I
Yeah.
googled this just to kind of get
Yeah.
so like my brain can kind of get around it. And the wood carvings are beautiful.
Aren't they stunning?
Yeah, like I kind of want one.
Yeah, it's like a Japanese dream catcher, essentially. And I think it's
Except somewhat creepier. Sometimes
Yeah.
like they're beautiful, but they're like it's beautiful, but
Still a
I wouldn't
warning.
want I wouldn't want this in my room.
no.
Like
it's
in
still
the
a warning.
house, maybe, but in the room, no, because like I would like if that was like next to my bed, I would not, I would not be happy.
Hey, but then it would only work for you for like naps, because the whole point of it, which became common for Japanese children in like the 1910s, was that you keep the talisman at your bedside. So it does kind of work like a dream catcher, like you need it in your room.
Okay, so the smaller ones I can see, but like some of these like ornate carvings are
Or like a little talisman, you know? Like out of
yeah,
stone,
little
like the one in the
yeah,
story. Something like
yeah,
that would be really cool.
the ones I see are like 2 feet high. Like these things are big, and no, I don't want that. I don't want that in my room.
No.
Tiny,
So-
that'd be cool because I could just put it on my pillow and it's fine.
It'd be very cute, yeah, just like in the story. Like that I would like. Anything bigger than that, that's a little much. Don't
Yeah.
really need that.
No.
But like, so the legend has it, this legend being like the most common telling of the story from like the 1900s. The legend has it that a person who wakes up from a bad dream, so person or child, usually child, but we'll say person, that wakes up from a bad dream would call out to the Baku, and they would say, like in my story, Baku-san, come eat my dream. You'd repeat it 3 times. And the Baku would come and devour the bad dream so the child could go back to sleep. But, because everything has a catch.
Oh no.
Because everything has a catch. You need to do this sparingly. As in, don't do it every night. Because if the Baku hangs around after eating your nightmares and it's still hungry, it'll devour your hopes and good dreams as well, and leave you with a completely empty and unfulfilling life.
That's a pretty big caveat.
So, like, don't do it often.
That's like a real no. That's that needs to be like way bigger on the warning label.
It's like a fine print thing, you know, like a contract.
Yeah, no, that's not a fine print thing. That should go first. It's like, hey, don't
valid.
do this often.
Valid.
Not
Well, see,
like
so that's why in my story it was like she's been having bad dreams for a really, really long time, and she forgot about it, and then she's like, oh yeah, that's the thing I could do, and that's why it worked.
So then she'll
So
be
yeah.
dead later on because she was just like, that worked this one time. I'm going to keep doing it, and then
thing.
eventually,
You don't die. Your life is just really unfulfilling. It doesn't
that feels
kill you,
worse.
It just essentially takes your will to live.
Which feels worse.
I mean, you're not dead though.
But it feels worse.
Valid. But you're not dead.
I love how you're just, but you're not dead.
So like, you know, heed the cautionary part of this tale. But just know that I would save this personally. I would save this for a night when you keep falling asleep, having a bad dream, and waking up, and you just keep having recurring nightmares. Because I feel like there would be a lot to satisfy the hunger of the Baku if it was one of those nights.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. It's such a neat concept.
Well, so do you want to
And
know why I even decided that I was going to talk about this?
did you buy one because you have nightmares?
I mean, I do have nightmares. I don't have a Baku. I do have a dream catcher that was made for me by. Okay, so sidebar story. Um, I am very, very small percentage, but part Native American. My great great grandmother was Native American, and I bonded over that fact with a bus driver that I had in elementary school who was like full-blooded Native American. Her name is Selena. She's a wonderful woman, and I hope that she's still doing well. Um, so when I was like 9, and I'm gonna be 27 this year, we were just talking about being Native American and like her tribe and like her cultural practices, and she would just tell me all these stories on the way to and from school. Like, I hung out with her because I was getting bullied in school and I hated people, so I sat in the front and I would talk to the bus driver. No regrets. She was awesome. So for Christmas one year, she made me a dream catcher, and I still have it. And so yeah, I just thought that was really neat. She made
Oh,
me
that's
one.
really
She showed
cool.
me what it was for, and yeah, I still have it. So I got that when I was 9 years old, and I still have it.
Clearly
And she
defective though.
painted my favorite colors, and it was awesome. And it still is awesome, and it's very delicate. And I don't know if anybody knows much about dream catchers, but like there's a bead in the center that catches all your bad dreams, and if it breaks, it's very bad luck, so you gotta be careful with them. Mine's still going strong. I take very good care of it. But so, I have that. I do not have a Baku.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that I decided I wanted to write about the Baku is because when I was stumped about what story I wanted to do for the start of the new year, it's the first story of the new year, first story of what I'll call our second season.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start off strong and on a happy note with good luck, but also a warning, because you're not getting out of here safely without warning. I came across this because guess what Pokemon is based off of? Take a guess. First gen.
Is a first gen?
Yep, first gen Pokemon based off this. Take a guess what it is.
Ooh. Ooh.
First gen Pokemon has to do with sleep. You get it?
it's a hypno.
Nope, not quite. It's a Drowsy.
It's a drowsy.
Drowsy was based off the Baku.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
And looks like it's a pier. So, it's neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that now. That's actually okay. That's really cool.
Drowsy was always one of my favorite Pokemon. Not like, he's in my top 10. He's not like, like my top 3. But he's in my top 10. And I always found him really cute. And so, yeah, I decided I wanted to look up, because, we talked about Mawile or Mawile being based off of other things.
Mm.
So,
Well, we talked about it with
Leafeon.
the
Leafeon.
with the Froglass.
Yeah, Frostlass and
Frostlass was the Yokoyana.
yeah, and Mawile's another one.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Drowsy. So a lot of, and it's not even necessarily like psychic or ghost types too. Like there are a lot of other Pokemon that are based off of. You'll probably hear me talk about all of them because I find this so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of other Pokemon that are based off of Japanese myth and lore, and so yeah, I happened to find that Drowsy was based off of a Baku, and that the Baku is more or less good.
More or less, yeah. It's kind of like that neutral. Well, actually, I think it would be like a true neutral because like it would be like it could be doing the good things, but it also has the potential for really a lot of harm. Because
It's not necessarily true neutral. Because, like, it does follow a law. Like, it has a code.
a lawful neutral, then.
Yeah, because, its code is like, yeah, like, you summon me, I'll come eat your bad dreams. But if I'm not satisfied, if I'm still hungry, then I'm gonna take your good dreams too.
Mm. Yeah, I'm looking at the one, and it's just like the fangs in it. Like, it looks like it could be cute, but it doesn't look like something I'd want to like stay in the house for long. Some of them look really
I
cute.
don't know. I feel like Baku is in the same realm of like Mogwai. It's in the same realm of the Gremlins.
Magwell. I love Gizmo.
I just watched Gremlins over Christmas because Tom's cousin had never seen it, so we're like, well, we got to fix that. Still blows my mind that Howie Mandel voices Gizmo.
Wait, what?
Howie Mandel voices Gizmo.
How did I not know this?
How did I know that and you didn't?
How did I not know this?
Another movie fun fact, totally unrelated. Nick Carter was the kid on the slip and slide in the beginning of Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
I am really full of obscure knowledge. I'm good at trivia. I'm a great asset to any trivia team. I'm telling you now, I freaking love trivia.
Hmm.
If the question is related to sports, you do not want me there. But if it's any other type of trivia, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, maybe obscure sports. If it's like mainstream sports, I got nothing. I'm sorry. I'm not that great at sports. It's not a hyperfixation special interest for me.
Hmm. This is actually I'm loving some of the art, and some of it is just wildly different, especially when you're looking at the stuff from like the 1700s and things. Like, there's some of them are beautiful, some of them are horrifying.
Yeah, like there's like the ones that look like a tapir, like Drowsy, or like an anteater, and then there are ones that are like a chimera with like mostly an elephant, but also kind of a rhino, but also kind of a tiger.
But also
and then
kind
there are
of
ones that also kind of have like a dragon form almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's neat. It's very cool. Definitely look up some pictures if you're listening right now and haven't done that already.
Yeah.
And we'll post some, of course.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you'll see in the show notes. You'll see some of the pictures and things. Yeah, some of these are really, really cool. I like them a lot. And then, like I said, some of these are nightmare-inducing.
Oh my god, they're very nightmare-inducing. I stick to the cute ones. I'm gonna picture Drowsy for my own safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to start the new year off strong with potentially good luck.
Also, not a murder, because we were talking about it last stream or two, where it was just like, oh yeah, we've murdered like every one of our characters, or like all but like one or two of our people have survived like a story, because like these are anthology series, so like we don't necessarily need that person to go on at some point, so we don't mind that they just don't make it out of the story, but occasionally they do. And this is one of those ones.
If you guys aren't writers, writing can be very cathartic. If you write off characters, you don't
very true. Like. Yeah, I've definitely murdered at least one person in a story that I didn't like. There's definitely a person in one of our stories that did not make it out. That it was very much a
for both of us.
Yeah.
For both of us. It's very cathartic. I definitely recommend using that as an outlet.
Yeah.
If you're frustrated. Writing is so fun.
But like, make sure it's like a far-fetched story. Don't like write a detailed thing about how you want to murder that person, because then that's
this is for sane purposes only.
Yeah, because then that's Exhibit A in your murder trial and all that kind of stuff.
It's premeditated.
Yeah, then that's premeditated. What you do is you find a cryptid that you want to murder them, and you do that way.
Yeah, this is completely fantastical, not real fiction.
Yes, murder is bad, people. Don't murder people.
Not conduct.
We do not condone
I
the
feel like it goes without saying, but you never know with people, so we're just putting that out there.
yes, the views of Paul and Jess are not of those who
No,
don't murder people
no,
unless it's
don't murder.
expositional in a story.
Yeah, don't literally
Then go
murder
at it.
anyone.
But yeah, don't literally murder anybody or don't plot a murder. Like,
Don't
yeah.
anything. Don't hurt anything. Don't hurt. Don't hurt people. Don't hurt animals. Just be a good person.
Mhm.
And that's where we want to start off on the new year.
And if you're having
Be
trouble
a good
sleeping,
person
grab yourself a Baku.
and be a good person.
But mainly be a good person.
I mean, that's the underlying moral of every one of our stories is be a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of
So
these,
bad
yeah,
things can happen to you.
yeah. It's rare when, like, a good person dies in the story. It's happened, but, I mean, it hasn't
There's
always
enough.
happened.
There's enough real life situations where bad things happen to good people, so we want to, suspend your disbelief here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something to say, Franco? Do you do you hear that? He's being loud as hell right
Yeah,
now.
he is.
Franco, what do you have to say to the people? Are you telling them to be good? Are you telling them to be good and give all their animals lots of love and pets?
He sees the Baku. That's basically what it is.
No, see, the reality is, he brought his toy up here, and he's like, "Hey, Mom, I know you're working, but, like, do a good thing for me." Buddy. No, he seriously... My cat thinks that he's a dog.
Mm-hmm.
He plays fetch. He drinks out of the toilet.
Okay.
He will take his... I don't condone it, but he'll do it. He finds ways. He gets in there. He will bring his toy up to me. Like, it's a string toy that he loves that has catnip in it, and it's a little fish. And he will put the fish in his mouth and drag the entire thing upstairs, which is what he just did, and started yelling.
Oh, that's cute.
And he does it all the time. It's always when I'm busy. Isn't that right, buddy? Oh, now you want to be quiet?
Yeah, he's like, oh, you acknowledge my existence. We're good.
Exactly. I think he's trying to tell me that I need to do like a feline cryptid or something related to cats. I think he's saying like he needs
He needs
his
representation. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, he needs representation. He needs to make his presence known to the people. He wanted to guest host today. He wanted to guest host.
All right. That was the Baku. That was actually I like these. These are really really cool. I love. We could do just like months upon months of Japanese lore.
Mine will be because it's just a special interest of mine.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
But
that was the
also,
yeah.
we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah, if there's something you want to hear, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on TikTok or something like that. Yeah, or just
Honestly,
email us.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time.
Happy New Year.
I
I would like to go away.
mean, do you want Krampus though?
I mean,
Do you want Perchta?
like, I feel like I'm a relatively good person, so I wouldn't be punished, but I don't want to take that chance. Like, what's their gauge of, like, morally correct, you know?
Finishing all your chores, making sure your house is neat, spotless, and tidy, and then also knitting your own clothes.
You lost me at knitting. I have, like, a pretty clean... Okay, I have ADHD. I'm a mess. So... my house is, like, pretty clean, but there are certain areas that are kind of chaotic, so, like, I might get away with it and be able to talk myself out of that. I can't knit. There's no saving myself there.
Well, then, yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I guess she could stay over in, like, Germany. I guess. I mean, I'd rather her just kind of like fuck off into the sun, but this is fine too. Just stay away from me and my loved ones, and we're okay.
So, since this is the last episode of the year,
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, guys. I really wanted to thank everybody who has come in. Like, we've had a lot of growth, a lot of people loving the series, and for some of you, like, we are either the only podcast that you listen to, or you're the most popular podcast that you listen to, which is like crazy. Like, I saw our Spotify wrapped, and we have 35 people where our podcast is in the top 10 of their most listened to podcasts, and we have as many as 15 where we are the number one podcast that you guys listen to, and that's like awesome.
I mean, it's really crazy because we never thought, you know, it would turn into what it did. We just kind of had this idea, like, I don't know, 3-ish years ago now, to do this podcast, and always said, oh, let's do it, we're gonna do it, and we just kept putting it off for a long time until this year we were finally like, you know what, we're doing the damn thing. We did it, and you guys really seem to like it, so it's nice to know that it wasn't just something that we thought would be cool and nobody cared about.
And it's also been fun. It's also been fun. Like Jess is an author, and I used to write a lot and everything like that. So like this has really been a lot of fun, creating new stories to do that, like our twist on the whole genre of these type of podcasts. Because like we're not unique as far as like podcasts go that talk about cryptids and things that go bump in the night. But I think our whole concept of like, let's write an original story that you've never heard, in addition to all of these things that kind of tie in some of these legends, I think is like our niche, and a lot of you really like the stories.
Fun creative outlet for us that also kind of gives me like a break from intense writing on my stories, where I don't write exactly the same kind of content. So I'm like, oh man, this is requiring a lot of thought to put into the story and make sure that there's continuity and plot throughout a series, whereas this is just a short burst, like really fun concept based on research that I do about things that I did or didn't know about. And sometimes, you know, like Krampus, I'll learn things I didn't know about Krampus when I kind of knew about the lore. So it's just fun to get to write these, but also to share them. Like, it gives me something to look forward to, like recording the episodes.
Like,
and
one of my favorite
when they come out, the feedback.
So one of my favorite things that happened this year that like wasn't really like related necessarily to the podcast. Watch Holly is a Twitch streamer, and she did a Halloween episode where she was basically reading scary stories, and I got her to read one of our scary stories, and like her channel like went crazy.
Which story?
Over it. The Crossroads Demon story.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah,
oh
and like,
yeah,
and she
send me that link. Is there like a link to the VOD? I want to watch it.
I don't know if she has it up anymore because like
it's been a couple months.
Yeah, but I'll look it up and see if it's still there.
I didn't know that happened. Like, I remember you talking about it, but I didn't know it happened.
Yeah, so like it was a lot of fun to like have somebody else read the story, and then people were just like you had people that were like on the
chat?
like in the chat going crazy about it, and like just
that's so cool.
Yeah, and they loved it, and then we ended up getting a couple new listeners out of it because they wanted to listen to the rest of the podcast and all that stuff. So like I had a lot of fun with it, so it was really, really nice to be able to do those things.
And I know we're both incredibly thankful to have all of you, because the traction that we've gained just from listeners and people joining in and finding it interesting. You know, we were able to partner with the Geekscape Network, so we're part of it now, which never would have happened if people didn't care about what we had to do. So thank you guys for helping us grow and expand.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it, guys.
And I can't wait to see where this next year takes us.
Yeah, new stories, new legends, new lores, probably some more guest spots. We might start if you guys want to start giving us stories. We would love to do listener tales and things like that. Or
Vampire
they
tales.
don't necessarily need to be like your original stories. Like if you have like something that's happened to you and you want to tell us, like we would love to do those things. And have like a listener tales episode. I really want to do a listener
Yeah, I
tale
mean, what
episode.
have any of you ever encountered, like the Jersey Devil, for example, or like
Mm,
it could be anything, like stuff we didn't even talk about yet. Like if you feel like you've had a paranormal or cryptid encounter and you want to talk about it, you want to write to us about it, do it.
mm.
Where can they send it, Paul?
Uh, that's a good question.
Did we establish anything yet?
Um,
Maybe that's a
yes.
task for the new year.
No, Campfire Ashes podcast at gmail.com. I had to remember the URL, but yeah, it's Campfire Ashes podcast at gmail.com.
Campfire Ashes Podcast at gmail.com. You heard it here.
Mm-hmm.
Send us your stuff. We want to hear from you.
And then we will see you in the new year with brand new stuff. We love you guys. We really do.
We love
Thank
you.
Thank you for an amazing year, or amazing couple months, and we're really looking to a full year of new content with you guys.
So cheers to 2023.
Yep.
And remember, last one out douses the fire. If you heard something, no, you didn't. And if you're here with us next time, that means you made it to morning.